What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? This is your boy Is Nefarious, and I'm here for another episode following the career of GM Neff. We are here with the Boston Bruins, and we are at the trade deadline, and we are on the brink of not making playoffs. If you're enjoying this content, please do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. It all helps the channel grow. But we are here at the trade deadline trying to get this team going because we are outside of the playoff spot right now, trying to get into the playoffs, and we're seeing some negative play from the team. So we got to take a look at the team and really what we want to do with these lines. We got a bunch of different guys here, some new faces in Duchesne, but a lot of returning faces from the trade deadline last year. We got Patras up in the NHL right now because we have an injury to Zacha. Zacha will not return for this season, so we got to get the playoffs, get into the playoffs and try to get it done without one of our best players in Zacha. So we're going to switch up the lines. We're going to have Duchesne be the center on this line between Patras and Pastrnak. Patras pretty good in the AHL. In the NHL, he's got a short sample size. We'll see if he's able to continue doing that. And as you can see with the defense, we're missing Hampus Lindholm right now. He should return in due time, but at least he will return compared to Zacha. Those are the defensive lines. We're not going to really touch those. Jeremy Swayman is obviously our number one. We still have Korpisalo. We're going to try real hard to move him this trade deadline. And what about Elias Lindholm? Remember, we have to evaluate Elias Lindholm's situation, and he has 37 points on that second line, which isn't great. He's a two-way forward. He's he's known for a little bit of defense, but he also has a minus on his plus minus. And we got Middlestat there, who's having a pretty decent season as well. More of an offensive guy, and maybe that's why his stats right now are a minus when it comes to Elias Lindholm. Maybe it's just because of the line mates he's with. Patras, 13 goals, 26 assists for 39 points in 56 games in the AHL. We'll see how he's going to do in the NHL. Duchesne having a really good season for us. I'm not too mad at the addition of Duchesne. I think he played really solid for what we offered him, 8.7 million, and he, just for 1 year. Pastrnak having a down year with only 49 points, so hopefully that turns around in the second half after the trade deadline. And Elias Lindholm, again, talking about him and his effectiveness. With Maverick Bourque and Middlestat, Maverick Bourque has 14 goals, 17 assists for 31 points. Not bad, still developing. Definitely want more out of a top six guy, but we are only paying him $2.5 million, so it's not the end of the world getting those stats from him, especially with the number we're paying him. Kuznetsov has 19 points so far in the season. Beecher has 17. Taking a look at Glass, he has 20 points, so he's been pretty good in 57 games. You have 10 points from Lauko and a -7. You got 10 points for Kostelic as well, and you got 8 points for Kubel in 53 games. So the fourth line doing pretty much what the fourth line does. Lettieri has 4 points. Just weighing the options between Lettieri and Kubel, and sticking with Kubel seems to be the best bet just because he's a two-way forward and he has a better defensive game. Wish we had Zacha. He only has 31 points on the season though, so he's not having a phenomenal season. Lindholm has 13 points. He's not doing too crazy out there, but he is a solid defenseman to have. But we're gonna rock with what we got for defense. We made that slight change offensively. Taking a look at Swayman's numbers, a 922 and a 241, which is not bad, and Korpisalo a 924 and a 251. But can we move him? We want to move him at the end of the day. That's one of our goals, to adjust the cap number for the goalies. And the only way we could do that based on what we have so far is even a limited number of teams, we're not able to get him to go. So with Elias Lindholm, maybe we can move him as well. So let's have a conversation. Can we waive his clause, or can we modify his clause so we can get him to move? So we're going to talk about his clause. He's asking what about his clause. We want him to add a couple more teams, or add a few teams that we could trade him to, or waive it altogether. We're just weighing out the options. We asked for 3 more teams. He does not take it. He doesn't want to hear it. He wants to stay in Boston. He doesn't want any part of it. So we're stuck with Elias Lindholm. There's no moving him. He has no option of trading. He doesn't want to deal with it at all. Talking about Korpisalo, let's see if we could extend 3 more teams onto that, or waive it completely. And we try to make him waive, and he says no. So the 20 or 24 teams that we're allowed to trade him to, that's the only teams we could trade him to, because he's not willing to waive that at all. Moving on to the trade deadline, we're going to be a conservative, most likely. There's a bunch of different options. We're not really a buyer. We're not really a seller. We're kind of in the middle on the brink trying to get into the wild card spot. So we're going to go with a conservative seller. We're going to enter the trade deadline, and we're going to see what we have for options. You see guys like Rasmus Anderson, Matheson's also there, Tyler Bertuzzi, Patrick Laine, just a few guys there that are options. But mainly for us, I think one of the massive goals for this is try to get Korpisalo's contract off the books and complete that AI owner goal that we were given by the AI. So maybe we could do that and get that completed. Not a lot out there that we really want. Taking a look at the team, gonna go over to the skaters match the block. Well, we have no skaters. We gotta actually do the trade block, but we're gonna see if we can move Korpisalo. We already tried and nothing, and we don't even have trades for Swayman, so it's not even just Korpisalo, it's Swayman as well. Neither goalie has a market right now. I don't know what it is with other teams, but nobody wants to trade goalies. So we're gonna try Korpisalo and add like a prospect. Maybe that will help him, or maybe even add Duchesne, who is having a good year, and maybe a team wants to buy and get a goalie and a top tier forward, a top 6 forward. That could be an option, but let's see if we add something with Korpisalo, if the trades kind of come in for him, because we want to move him, but what can we move with him? We do like Cody Glass, but he's also an option. We like Patras, he could be an option. Elias Lindholm, obviously we can't trade him. He's got the full no movement. But you know, hopefully with the addition, maybe Maverick Bork as well, you know, we could get something. Lysel's also an option, but it's not promised. It's not promised. It could just be a goalie thing where for some reason they don't want to trade goalies within the season. Peak is also coming up on his contract. Can he be an option? So we try to package Peak and Korpisalo. It doesn't work out. No offers. So we move on to Cody Glass. No offers at all. Once again. So with Cody Glass, with Mitten, no offers. We couldn't even get offers with Middlestat. So I think it's just at a point where you're not going to get an offer with a goalie. We even tried Zaka at that point, and Yokiharu. There's just no offers for goalies. So we gave up on trying to trade Korpisalo. It's not really worth it. We actually ended up trying to do it with the first round draft pick. That didn't work either. As you can see right here, we're gonna go and get a first round draft pick with it, and don't want it. They don't want it. So it's an issue with the goalies at this point. We do have 2 first round draft picks coming up in this draft, so that's good news, especially with where we are as a team. You know, we get that first round draft pick from trading Carlo, or Carlo getting traded in real life. So Cody Glass, we're gonna try to see what we could get for him. You know, we're gonna weigh our options with some of these guys, because Cody Glass on the third line is not really what we want as far as a 2-way forward. He's more of a top 6 guy, but we don't have room there for him. So taking a look at some of the trades, nothing really grabs my eye off the bat. You got Hellenius in a second and a fifth there, which, you know, the second's nice. You got O'Rourke and Bankier in a third, which is pretty decent, because O'Rourke is a defenseman. Is he a right-handed defenseman? Because we don't need any left-handed defenseman. He's left-handed. Not really worth it for us. We don't need to add any left-handed defensemen to this team, because I think we got some good pieces coming up there. Taking a look at the rest of the trades, you got a center there, not really worth it. A third and a fourth, and Richie O'Brien, and another pick there, Zanin and Lind. You got a second in Schaefer. You got Spence. You got a second, fifth in Lucas. You got Maggio. You got a second in Kabanov. Cernik in a third. Berglund in a seventh. So none of these trades are really catching an eye, and I don't think any of these trades are really worth it. We're going to take a look at Berglund, because he is a top 6 forward. He's a left wing center, power forward. Not really going to fit what we want to do. He's pretty much the same guy as Cody Glass, just actually less developed. So why even do that trade at that point? So taking a look at some of our other options, instead of Glass, let's take a look at, you know, one of these other young guys. Could it be Mitten? Could we do Lysell? Could we do Patras? Cody Glass, you know, is somebody that we could potentially build around. Maybe he does get up to the top 6 at one point. But we do have a lot of young forwards that have that top 6 medium potential. So maybe we could move one of these guys to get a couple pieces that fit the scheme, or fit what we want to do a little bit better. So it would be bad on us as a GM not to do our due diligence when it comes to, this type of stuff. So taking a look, you got Lysell here. We're gonna shop him around. You get a third in Holmes, you got Barlow, you got Lukius, and you got Sapoloviv. Russian name, can't pronounce it. Second, Kuznetsov, that's easy enough. You got a second, Jofferson. You got Zernick in a third, which, we already got offered that, but maybe Zernick fits that bottom six a little bit better. So let's take a look at it, and not worth it. Top 9 potential, but he's a 71 overall. He's not really going to fit what we're doing now, and he doesn't really fit to what we want to do in the future. So not really worth it. So let's go back, get Lysell. I wish you could just go back to the trades that you were getting from Fine Trade or Fine Trade. I hate that you have to go all the way back and redo it. And as you can see, we're back here. You got a Curry or Achari, a third in Lombardi. You got Talbot in Lombardi, Hellenius, once again offered Rourke again, but we're not interested in Rourke. We're looking for a right-handed defenseman or a prospect that is a two-way forward. You got Coots and Jacobson, a couple decent options there. You got Hammerhand, you got Lecomte in a second. You got Varlamov and Nurmi, and it's funny how Varlamov, we're not going to trade for Varlamov. We can't even get rid of Korpisalo. Kabanov and Hamara are also an option. You got Donovan. Is he left-handed? That's the question. Top 4 medium, but left-handed once again, and it's not a position of need, a left side defenseman. We got 2 coming up, and then we got a third that could develop into something that could be on that third pair. So it's not really worth it for us. Taking a look at the other options out there, like I said, you got to go all the way back and redo it, and then go through all the trades you already seen to get back to where you were. You got Mellon Duke, Lyndon Wisbat. I think this is a wrong trade. We meant to click on something else. No, that's the trade we got offered. We got offered Lind and Weisblatt for a third, a fourth, and Hutton, it looked like. So they're not too bad, but we decide that we got enough forwards. You're gonna add a center and a right wing in a room that is already loaded as it is, as far as young talent coming up. So we denied that trade. We're gonna hold on to our draft picks for now. Going back to Lysell, still plenty of options out there to see where we can move them. Melendijk here, is he somebody that we could trade for? Is he a right-handed defenseman? Nope. Left-handed once again, 5'11" as well. So definitely not a fit there. So you're getting a lot of left-handed defensemen. It seems like an overload of left-handed defensemen out there. And as you can see, you got Sasha there, who's a top 4, 76 overall. He's one of the multiple left-handed defensemen that we have, and it's not what we want. So taking a look, you got Coots, you got a second Lecomte, you got a second Varlamov, like I said, not going to take that. You got another goalie there in Sandstrom. Hamara and Kabanov, Donovan, which we already took a look at. Take a look, you got second in Gendron. You got Ciernik in a third in Bellevue. You got a third and a fourth, Silvos, another goalie. You got Kuznetsov there in a second, not worth it. Karki, you got a second and a fourth. Karki's a defenseman, but I don't know if I trust what I see in potential, so we don't even take a look. You got Colin and a pick there, not worth it. Jaeger, you got a second in Temple. You got a second and a fourth from second and a sixth from the Cap. So a few options. We take a look at it. I don't know why we did. It's not like there's a player card for draft picks. So Mitten is also an option. Maybe we move him a 2/3 there. You could see the value seems to be a little less than what we were getting for Lysell, or not a little less. We were getting a little bit more value, but like nickel and diming value. We don't really need an extra piece for no reason. You got O'Brien there, Lind, Wisblatt. You got Molendijk again being offered. You get a lot of the same offers for Mitten, and we actually like Mitten. You got Hamahano, who's a two-way forward. He fits a little bit of what we want to do. Can he be the pick? A top 6 fits what we want to do, and you get Gute, but we have to get rid of Mitten. So the question is, do we want to get rid of Mitten? And then you get 2 prospects, a center and a right wing. We're gonna take a look at some of the other offers that we get. Going back to Lysell, can we get a offer that we want for Lysell, because we don't really want to move Mitten, if we're being honest. We'd rather move Lysell at this point instead of Mitten. So taking a look at some of the other trades, Coots, there's that same two-way forward, the right winger there, and he feels like what we want. So we could accept this trade. We're really thinking about it. He's actually like Lysell, similar in value, and he's actually gonna develop into the type of player we want in our forward group, a two-way forward. So he could definitely be that type of guy, especially with Mitten, Patras, and Cody Glass and Letourneau. You got a lot of guys that aren't really developing into that two-way. We get offered a second in Lombardi for a second, third in Brazeau. We don't want to give up an extra pick to get rid of Brazeau, so we don't even deal with that pick. We take all these guys off the trading block, so we stop getting offers that we don't want. So going back to Lysell, let's see, we put Mitten on the block to see if we get an offer. Put Lysell, because those are two guys we've been shopping. We're going to take a look at other guys we could potentially put out there. Walensky, who's a low elite but a 53 overall, so he's on the less expensive side, but we decide not to put him on at the end of the day. We actually go with Lori, and the trade deadline is now complete. We don't even circle back on that trade for that two-way forward. We ruin our trade deadline by being indecisive, and there goes the trade deadline. And taking a look at some of the trades, you got Yost going from Carolina, actually going from Columbus to Carolina. You got a Suter and Dickinson going to Philadelphia from Chicago. You got Kyle Palmieri going from Columbus to Vegas in a trade there. You got Oli Mata going for Ryan O'Rourke and Rashinsky. A couple pieces there. Lindgren, a goalie moved. I don't know how a goalie moved when we tried so hard to get a goalie to move. Lindgren goes to the Capitals for New Hook, a second, and a goalie prospect, it looks like, in Miller. We tried to move a goalie and nobody wanted to bite. Maybe we should have offered him later on in the trade deadline, but we were too busy being indecisive. Rustalainen and Klingberg go to St. Louis. You also got a few other trades, but nothing too crazy. Robbie Fabry on the move. Connor Clifton, ex-Bruin, on the move, but nothing too crazy. No big splash, no big name move. Not even Rasmus Anderson, it looks like. You got Backlund and Morionov who get moved. Cohen and Sachin. Roslovic gets moved, which is a pretty solid piece. He gets sent from Carolina to Minnesota, so that's not a bad piece. Zach Bogosian goes the other way, so not a bad little trade. Liljegren getting moved as well, so you got a lot of small pieces being moved. Roslovic was probably one of the bigger names being moved in this trade deadline. Nothing really flashy there, but going back to the sim, what we have is what we got when it comes to this team. We're not getting anybody else. We just missed out on the trade deadline, so we got to try to make it work with what we got. And what we got is something that hasn't been working as of late. So going into the sim, we get the Islanders right after the trade deadline. Then we got the Senators and the Montreal Canadiens. Three teams we need to beat to really put together a good run here late. And we're going to start off well. We're going to start off with a win against the Islanders, 4-0. That's a huge win. We got Hampus Lindholm back, so now we got to manage the roster. We got to send one of these defensemen down. We're going to send down Clague. That was an easy decision. He was probably the worst of the bunch, so we sent him down, put him through waivers. And now we got to play the Ottawa Senators, but we have Hampus Lindholm back. So Ottawa ends up winning that 3-2. We lose, so we win one, we lose one. Still question marks about this team. We still have a chance to hit our goals of winning 44 games and then also making it to round 3 of the playoffs if we get in. But right now it's not looking promising, but there's still a slim chance. Lettieri has to come in for Kubel, who gets injured. As we go on to Montreal, can we beat Montreal, arch nemesis? They're 26-30-8. It's definitely a team that we can beat on paper. 2-0 after 2, 4-0 in this game. a shutout for Jeremy Swayman. Good game there. So we win one, lose one, win one. Where's this team gonna go? It's a big question. We got the Sabres next. Can we get another win? Down 1-0 to the Sabres, down 2-0. We lose 2-1. Not enough offense. It seems like the offense goes in spurts. We got 2 games where we scored 4 points, and then 4 goals, and then two games where we barely scored 1. So moving on to the next game, we got to deal with the Chicago Blackhawks. But before we do that, we got Lindholm, who could come back, and then we got Kubel, who could also come back. So we're going to get Kubel back in, and then we're also going to go get Lindholm back in here in a second. We actually just forgot to do it. So going back to the sim, playing Chicago without Lindholm, we ended up winning 2-0. I don't know why we missed out on putting Lindholm back in. And then you're going to have Kubel, who got injured, so we got a broken nose. This will be a perfect time. We're going to take out Kubel and put Lettieri. So that's the one thing about bringing the guy back too soon, or letting him play when he's still slightly injured. He could go right back on the injury list. So we get Lettieri back in for Kubel. We move on to the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't know why we still have Lindholm not playing on the team right now, sitting the bench, but you're gonna have Pittsburgh go up 3-0. Lindholm on the bench, not playing, not doing our job as a coach. And then 5-4, we come back in the second period. Sidney Crosby scoring for the Pittsburgh Penguins. 5-4 going into the third. Can we get the win? We end up getting the win. 5-4 is your final, and we now are sitting here at 32-30-6, a 5-4-1 record in our last 10. Can we make the playoffs? We got 70 points altogether. It's definitely doable. It's definitely doable for us to make the playoffs. Going to the Maple Leafs, definitely going to be a tough game to win. After the first period, it's 3-0. After the second period, it is 4-2. And after the third, we get the win 7-2. Our offense is firing on all cylinders now. This is what we need. This is what we need down the stretch if we really want to make the playoffs. Going into Montreal after a 7-2 win, are we able to go ahead and get the win against Montreal? Let's take a look. Go ahead and sim this one. We got a first period that ends 1-0. Montreal goes up. You got Montreal going up 2-0 after the second. In the third period, we score 2 goals. We take it to overtime. That's a huge point late in the season, and we're able to win it. We get the 2 points in the shootout, so that's huge for the team. Now we're sitting there 33-30-6. We are 7-3 in our last 10. This is back to where it was early on in the season, where we were playing really good hockey. Can this continue? That's the question. After 2, it is 2-1 against the Minnesota Wild. They came back and they beat us 4-1. So the offense kind of falls off in that game, and we lose that. Going to the Ottawa Senators, who are 39-23-10, playing really, really well. They're 7-1-2 in their last 10. Eric Gustafson is an option. We're going to take a look at him just to do our due diligence. It looks like he's good. He's an offensive defenseman, though. We really don't want him, so we decline that, even though he looked pretty decent. Got another defenseman going through waivers. He's a top 6 exact. He's 27. He's a little too old. If anything, he would be an AHL guy, and we're not going to claim him to be on the NHL team, so we're going to let him pass as well. So now against the Ottawa Senators, can we get a big win against a divisional rival? They're up 2-1 after 2. After the third period, we're unable to score. Once again, the offense is not there. The offense is not keeping pace. Only 1 goal in the last 2 games. Moving on to the next game, where we play the Red Wings. The Red Wings are below 500. It's definitely a team we could beat. Tucker, a left-handed 77 overall defenseman. A little too short. Not really interested in him. Parker Wotherspoon, we're not going to bring him back. We weren't a fan of him when he was here. So definitely an easy no there. Now back to the Detroit Red Wings. Going to be a tough game. They are 31-33-8, and the reason I'm saying it's tough is these are usually the teams we lose to. We beat the over 500 teams. We just lose to these teams. Taking a look at some of the stuff, we are 3-0 in the season record. We won 7-1 in the last game we played. Can we continue some of that? So Detroit goes up 1-0 in the first. We go up 2-1 in the second, and in the third, we end it 3-2. So we we continue our run against the Detroit Red Wings, doing a good job there, getting a win. So now with 34 wins, we need 10 more wins to get 44, but Patras goes out. That is a huge hit to the offense. Patras not being there. You have Letteri and Kubel. We're going to put Letteri up on that first line. We really don't have much options when it comes to the offense. So Letteri goes to that first line to take over for Patras, and we put Kubel on the fourth. So going into this next game against Carolina, missing some of our best players, we got 2-1 lead. We got a 4-2 lead going into the third, and in the fourth we add one. The third we add one more for the win, 5-2. So a big win. We're getting a nice little win streak here. We are 7-3 in our last 10, and Patras is back, but we're not gonna put him in yet. We're gonna get him back in later on. And Delgado is up for grabs, 5'11", 168, a defensive defenseman. We thought about it a little bit, but we decided to decline. I don't think he moves the needle. And taking a look at the team, we are coming down the stretch and looking at the standings. We are sitting there at 36, 32, and 6 with 78 points. We are chasing the wild card Capitals and Flyers, who have 79 and 82 points respectively. We are not catching our division, as you can see, with the 92 points from the Senators being the third overall team. We are not catching them. So going back to the sim, we got to play the Tampa Bay Lightning. We got to bounce back and get some wins going, or continue the path we are, because we have been winning some games. 5-2 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The offense is firing on all cylinders. A big win there. Can we continue it? So in the last 10, we are now 7-3. So 3-game win streak that we're on. Rangers coming to town. We are 1-1 against them on the season. Can we continue to win? Because we're coming down to the end of the season. There's not many more games to talk about. 1-1, we tie it. 3-3 after 2, and going into third, we end up losing this one 4-3. And this is actually the game that eliminates the chance of us getting 44 wins. We needed a win out, and the Rangers ruined that chance for us, as we have 78 games played and 37 wins. So there's no way we can now get that owner goal. So that's not happening. Now we got to try to make the playoffs. We got Patras back, so we're gonna put him back in. We already put Lindholm back in. I know we talked about it earlier in the show. We ended up putting him back in. We just didn't show it on the stream, or didn't show it in the edit. So Lapierre is going into a waiver claim. We're not really interested. He's a center. He is a medium elite. We thought about it a little bit. His points are great. He hasn't played a lot. He is 24, and he's already going to add into a room that we already have too many people. And where are we going to put him if we play him? We're going to put him on that third line in between Cody Glass and Kuznetsov. Where would we put him? So we decided to pass on Lapierre, and plus we're not too sure on some of the scouting, because obviously we have no scouts. So going to the Pittsburgh Penguins, we still got a chance to make the playoffs. So we just got to put some wins together. So let's see if we're able to do that, starting with the Pittsburgh Penguins, or does that Rangers loss really hurt us? 2-2 after 1, going into the second period. Can we score? 3-3. Crosby scores in the second, and in the third, 4-4. We go into overtime. We at least get a point out of this game, which is always good. And then we ended up losing in a shootout. 5-4 is your final score, as Russ ends it for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins. We're still chasing 1 point. The Penguins are now on that second wild card spot with 82 points. So they're now the team we're chasing, and we just lost to them. So that's huge. Going into the Maple Leafs, taking a look, Penguins still with 82 points, 86 points for the Flyers. I don't think we'll catch the Flyers, but we could still catch the Pittsburgh Penguins. Taking a look at the game, 4-3 is the score after 2. Can we get the point? Can we at least get a point from this game? We cannot. 6-5 your final score, so we get no points from this game. Definitely a tough loss, especially with us trying to sneak into playoffs somehow at the end of the season. You're gonna have Colton White, who's going to be on the waiver claim. He's a seventh D, not really interesting piece for us. And with a minimal amount of games left, we got to win every single one that's coming down. And Montreal goes to a 3-0 lead immediately as we say that. Not looking good. 4-0 is the final score. We're unable to even put up a goal. Definitely summing up the ability of this team. And taking a look at the Capitals, who are now in the hold of the second wildcard spot, they have 85 points and we have 81 with a few games left. I don't even think we could get into the playoffs at this point. We only have 3 more games, and we're down by 4 points. So we would have to win every single game to even make the playoffs. And Carolina, we lose 4-2. So in the game we must win, we lost 4-2, and that pretty much finishes the season for us. We are not making the playoffs. We finished middle of the pack, and we're not going to get a top draft pick. These are the worst types of losses, is when you just miss out on the playoffs. You end up just outside, and you don't get a good draft pick, and you don't get the playoffs. So it's a lose-lose at the end of the day. We're not going to get our 44 wins. We're not going to make it to round 3 of the playoffs. Our fan happiness is not at 99, it is 89. And then we could at least upgrade the club seats by 1 level. So that's the one thing we could possibly do. So we're going to simulate the rest of the season. 38, 37, and 7 is your final record when it comes to the Boston Bruins, which isn't great. Obviously, some guys coming back. We did not pass this field. The fact that we didn't get 44 wins, so that's always a bad thing. Hopefully we don't get fired at the end of the season just because of that. But looking at the team, we got some decisions to make. Some UFAs coming up. Duchesne's a UFA who played really well. Maybe he comes back, but we want to see what's in free agency most likely. Kuznetsov we love, so we're going to automatically go into negotiations with him early on and try to get him wrapped up. So talking to him, trying to get him wrapped up. He only wants a 1-year deal, but we want to offer a 2-year deal, but I don't think we'll be able to at this point. So we go with the 1-year deal. We try to take some money off the top. It's 2.075. We go down to 1.975 for 1 year. He didn't like it that much. So let's go back to 2.075. Let's see what we get there. And we finish on 2.075 for 1 year. And he's going to let us know if he's going to accept that. He's an RFA after this, so we still got control over him and his contract. Lauko is another guy we really like, so we want to bring back. So we're going to have the conversations with him right now. He likes the organization. Right now we're offering him 2 years, 1.725. We're going to try to subtract 350 to make it 1.375. He does not like that. It goes down by a bunch. Even with some of the promises that we're going to end up giving him of not scratched in line 4, he does not want to hear it. It's not going to get the contract interest up enough for us. So we're going to have to improve the salary in the end, because none of these promises are really going to do it for him, as we promised line 4 right there and nothing. So we got to go back to increase the salary. We increased it by 100K, 1.475 for 2 years. It's close, but we ended up going 1.575 to make it, perfect. 2 years, 1.575. He said he's going to discuss it with his friends and family and let us know. So those are the 2 guys we really wanted to talk about when discussing contracts. Those are 2 guys we for sure want to bring back no matter what. Talking about this season, you had Pasternak with 66 points, definitely a down year. Duchesne had a solid season, being second in points for us. We lost Zaka, and it would have been nice to have him as well. Taking a look at Bork, he had 18 goals. He just was shy of his season goal of 20. So that sucks, but he had 42 points on that second line, which isn't the end of the world. So some good seasons, not great for some of these guys. Lindholm had 48 points, 21 goals, 27 assists. You also had the league leaders, Austin Matthews with 85 points, Rantanen with 81. You had Nylander with 80. You had McDavid with 79, 78 for McKinnon, Barkov with 77, Robertson with 77, Draisaitl with 77, and JT Miller with 73. And with this, we have it set on low shots and low goals for the sim engine. We're going to actually change it after this. We're going to go low shots and medium for scoring. So we'll see how the numbers change next season, but for now we're going to leave it low. Start of next season, it will be medium and low shot totals, medium goals. Taking a look at the goalies based on who qualified of at least 50 games. Your best goalie was Hellebuck. He had a 937 and 183, which is really good. You had Olmark there, who had a 930. And take a look at Swayman. He was way down the list with a 919 and a 251, even with the low on the shot total and the scoring total. So even that, he wasn't a top goaltender, but he's getting paid like a top goaltender with $8.25 million, and he's got a no movement clause that kicks in next season. So if we don't try to move him at the end of the year, we're stuck with him for a while. And honestly, I'm not too sure if I want to move him or not. We'll have to discuss that in the offseason to see if we really want to move him. But at the moment, he's our starting goaltender, but we definitely need him to be better if we want to compete with this team. The 919 and the 2.51 is not going to cut it for us. We definitely need a lot better from him in general. So hopefully next season he bounces back with a better season. But going to the playoff tree, let's take a look at who's in the playoffs. On the Western Conference, you're going to see that they have the Colorado Avalanche versus the Predators. You got the Dallas Stars in Winnipeg. You got Vegas versus Anaheim. You got Oilers versus the Blues for the Western Conference. So some good matchups there. It's going to be really interesting to see how they perform and how that maps out. On the Eastern side, you got the Devils and the Columbus Blue Jackets. You got the Rangers and the Flyers. You got the Panthers and the Senators, and you got the Maple Leafs and the Capitals. So some fun matchups there. The Panthers trying to have a three-peat. They won back-to-back. Can they make it 3 seasons in a row? And taking a look at the Providence Bruins, remember, we want to treat the AHL with respect. We are just outside a playoff game with the Providence Bruins. They have 78 points behind the Checkers. Can they win out, and can they end up making the playoffs? Potentially, and we're going to try to help them out the best we can by sending Patras down. Patras is going to join that team and see if we can make the playoffs with the AHL team at least, and get some good mojo going in the organization. So talking about the AHL, going down there, we're going to have the head coach preferred lines. That's going to put Patras on line 1. That's going to have Mitten move to wing. So it looks like we got some good lines there. Definitely a good team, I would say, with an 84 overall center leading the way on line 1 in the AHL. But sim in this game, already lost. Lavo Rocket beat us 3-0. So even with Patras, it didn't work out. So we're still in a chance of us making the playoffs when we go play Lee Valley Phantoms. So there's our hope is not gone. Our hope is not gone. So let's go to Lee Valley. Let's see if we can come out with a win here. We got Skarek in the net, and we score 1 goal, 1-1 after 2, after 3, 3-1. The Phantoms beat us. So there it goes. We are not making the playoffs in the AHL either. So both teams, the NHL and the AHL, both failed to make the playoffs or failed to have a positive season. But in positive news, we were able to wrap up Lauko and Kusnedinov. So both of them will be joining the team and staying with the team for at least 1 more year for Kusnedinov, 2 more years for Lauko. Taking a look at the playoffs on our right-hand side, you're going to see a lot of ties, 1-1. You got a few teams up 1-0. The Senators and the Devils up 1-0. You got the Flyers up 2-0 in their matchup. Taking a look, everybody's tied up 1-1 on the Western Conference. 2-1 now for the Oilers, 2-1 for Vegas, 2-1 for Preds, and 2-1 for Stars. Take a look at the Eastern. You got 2-1 Caps, 2-1 Panthers, 2-1 Devils, 3-0 Flyers. The Flyers playing really, really well right now. But, you know, the Panthers trying to make it a three-peat and doing their thing in their series with the Ottawa Senators. You got the Oilers going up 3-1 and the Stars going up 3-1. Zaka's back, but that doesn't matter to us. We're eliminated. Stars out of the first team into the next round. They win 4-1 against the Winnipeg Jets. The Ottawa Senators are fighting against the Stanley Cup, the previous Stanley Cup champions with the Panthers. They're tied 2-2. Can they be the team to eliminate them? Can they play spoiler on the three-peat that the Panthers are trying to get? You got the Predators beating the Colorado Avalanche to move on to the next round. That was a surprising victory there. I really thought Colorado would win it. Simming further, you got the Oilers and the Blues going into Game 7 tied. You got the Senators and the Panthers tied. You got the Knights and the Ducks tied. You also got the Caps beating the Maple Leafs 4-3. They move on to the next round to face the Flyers or the Columbus Blue Jackets or the winner of the Panthers and the Senators. You got the Oilers going on to the next round, and then you got the Oilers and the Knights in the Western Conference. You got the Stars and the Predators in the Western Conference. Then you got the Panthers and the Capitals and the Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Flyers. So the Panthers are still alive to potentially get their three-peat. Will they get it? It will be an awesome story if they're able to get it. The Knights win to go up 1-0 against the Oilers. You got the Preds going up 1-0. You got the Panthers going up 1-0. But we got Kuznetsov reaching out, and we wanted him to move to left wing. And he's feeling good about left wing, so we are able to move Kuznetsov to left wing. Fabian Lysell too. We wanted him to move the positions. Unfortunately, he's not able to move positions, so we at least get Kuznetsov, but we weren't able to get Fabian Lysell. Not the end of the world. It is what it is. But at least one of them move. And Lysell, we might end up just trading at this point. Everybody's tied. Then you're going to have Oilers going up on the Knights 2-1. Preds up on the Stars. Panthers up on the Caps, and then the Blue Jackets up on the Flyers. Then the Oilers go up 3-1. Panthers go up 3-1, and then the other two series tie 2-2. So what's going to happen in these playoffs? Will the Oilers end it? Will the Oilers end up going into the conference final? The Knights end up winning it. The Panthers are the first team to move to the conference final, so their hope of making a three-peat is still alive. And your conference final on both sides is the Dallas Stars and the Oilers versus the Panthers and the Flyers. And I just want to take a look at some of their teams. So taking a look at the Dallas Stars, you got Robinson, Hintz, Rantanen, Marchment, Johnston, Kane, Dadonov. You got Harley and Heiskanen, Lindell, Dumba, Gilbert. You got a really good team, really strong team. And then you got Ottinger in net, as you know, really good goalie. So I think that is one of the keys of them being able to compete in the Western Conference. Having a good goalie, I always think is the key to the playoffs. Take a look at the Oilers. You know what they have. Ryan Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, Hyman, McDavid. They also got Kane on the second line, Robinson, Henrique, Brown, Janmark, Max Jones, Fix Wolanski. You also got Podsklozen, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. A young guy we have no clue about. Taking a look at the defense, they got Nurse, they got Bouchard, they got Wallman, Burns, Ekholm, and Emberson. So they got a really solid defense as well. Take a look at what they have not on the team right now. Skinner's injured. They don't have him. Savoy's injured, so they're going with Picard in net. Can Picard do enough to get them into the Stanley Cup? Taking a look at the Panthers, they got Bobrovsky, as we know, Kachuk, Barkov, Reinhart, Samsevich, Lundell, Verhaeghe, Marchand's on that third line with Bennett and Entwistle. They also got Luostarinen, Boqvist, and Rodriguez. So they got a hell of a team. Froslings, your defense, Eklund, Kulikov, Mikula. You got Bolinskis and Schmidt. So a lot of good pieces on that team right now. And we already talked about Bobrovsky leading the way. And Seth Jones is actually injured. So even with that great team, they got a good player in Seth Jones missing. That's why you got Nate Schmidt on that last pair of defensemen. So you gotta you deal with some injuries late in the season, and you know that could definitely hurt it, but a really good team to make up for that one injury. Taking a look at the Flyers, they got Cam York, Sanheim, Sealer, Drysdale, Petrie on defense. You got Tippett, Couturier, Konechny. You got Pelletier. You got Mitchkov, Frost, Skinner, Dickinson. You got Mantha, Forrester, Poling, and Hathaway. So you got a really good offensive group. You got Urson and Kolosov. So pretty good players there. Andre is actually injured right now. He's another good player that you would usually have. Brinks on the bench. So they got a solid team. Definitely, young and developing, but already here in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, and they're up 1-0 on the Panthers, and the Stars up 1-0 on the Oilers. They both get tied 1-1. After the third game, it's 2-1 Oilers, 2-1 Flyers of all teams, and then you have 2-2 Oilers and Stars. You got a 3-1 lead for the Flyers. Can the Flyers be the Cinderella story? Can they eliminate the Panthers? The Panthers come back 3-2 now. The Flyers up, and then you're gonna have the Panthers tie at 3-3. The Stars waiting for the outcome of that game as the Stars move on to the Stanley Cup. That nasty team take down McDavid, and then you're gonna have the Stars and the Panthers. The Panthers once again making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. How often are we going to let this team get away with this? They are now in the Stanley Cup Finals once again. Can the Stars save us from the Panthers having their three-peat? They are up 1-0 after one. After two, it is tied 1-1. After three, 2-1 Panthers. After four, you're going to look at 3-1 Panthers. The Panthers looking like they're going to end it. Can the Stars fight back? Can the Stars make it a series? They win the next game, go into game 6. Can they win game 6? They do. 3-3. It is a tie, and we're going to take a look at all the games that they played so far this series. So looking at the first game, it was 3-0 Stars, 2-1 Panthers, 2-0 Panthers, 3-1 Stars, 2-0 Stars. What's going to give in this game 7? Who is going to win? What is going to be the outcome? And after game 7, drumroll please, you got the Florida Panthers once again winning the Stanley Cup, and then Silver Knights winning the Calder. But looking at the Panthers get a three-peat for the Stanley Cup. You got the President's Trophy going to the Stars. You got the Prince of Wales going to the Panthers. You also got the Western Conference Championship going to the Stars, of course. They're the ones that made it, the Clarence S. Campbell. So you got all those trophies going out to those teams. Congrats to the Panthers, though. Another Stanley Cup, and 4 seasons in a row making it to the Stanley Cup. Taking a look at the individuals, you got Austin Matthews winning the Ross, the Hart. You got Riley winning the Norris. Lady Byng going to Robinson. Calder going to Walsdet. You got Verhage getting the Conn Smythe. You got Hellebuck getting the Vezina. He had a phenomenal season. Bobrovsky getting the Williams Jennings, which is the goals against average between the two goalies. He gets the Jennings. You got Jensen getting the Bill Masterson. You got the Jack Adams going to Evason, who's the Columbus Blue Jackets coach. You got the Selke going to Thomas. You got Hellebuck getting the Ted Lindsay. You got the Rashad Trophy going to Nylander. So a couple of guys there that from the Maple Leafs getting all the trophies, including Riley. You had Riley, Matthews, and Nylander all getting it. Minton on our side gets the Garrett Memorial Trophy. I don't know what that is for the AHL. Have no clue. I'll have to search it. But he at least gets a trophy for us. So somebody in the AHL gets something for us. I believe that was actually the Rookie of the Year when I read it. So he gets the Rookie of the Year, even though he was in the AHL last year. But that's going to do it for us today. A lot of fun stuff. The Panthers win 3 in a row, which is crazy to us. So now we got to go to the NHL entry draft, which we will do in the next episode. I hope that you're enjoying the content. If you are, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm your boy, Is Nefarious, and I am out of here.